Hello Nintendo Wii here, welcome back to Let's Play Retro Games, and welcome to my collection video for this amazing console here, the PC Engine, otherwise known in America and UK as the TurboGrafx. So, I've got a nice big stack of games here, and I'm definitely going to do another video in the future about the system and about the console because it is a really interesting console that not enough people know about, so I'm definitely planning on doing that in the future, but without further ado, let's get started by taking a look at my TurboGrafx games. Not a lot of people actually know that the TurboGrafx got an official release here in the UK. I've got 3 games here from the actual UK collection. I don't think there was many released, so I've got Bomberman here, which I actually did a Retro Game a Week video about quite a while ago, so I'll put a link in the description for that. It's a really fun game, very weird, but definitely entertaining. The next game we have here, a game I'm not too fond of, but it's okay I guess, and it did get a little cameo in the Smash Bros game on the Wii U. This is this is Pac-Man Land. Don't know why I thought it was Tetris. And the last one we have here, the first game that I got with my PAL TurboGrafx many years ago. I did also do a video review / unboxing when I actually picked it up, so I'll put that in the description as well. This one is called Blazing Lasers, and it's amazing. Easily one of my favourite games on the entire system, so if you haven't played Blazing Lasers, or the Japanese name for it is Gunhead, if you haven't played either of them games, definitely go and pick this one up for the TurboGrafx. Incredible game, really, really fun. And one more TurboGrafx game, this one's an American one, and this is actually a Turbo CD game, and one of the main reasons why I wanted to get the console in the first place. This is Ease Book 1 and 2. I'm sure if you're familiar here on YouTube with retro gaming channels, you'll know Happy Console Gamer, and I just love his passion for the Ease series, so I had to go and pick this one up, and I was absolutely blown away. It's one of my favourite games of all time now. Really is incredible. If you like any of the newer Ease games as well, definitely go back and play the older ones because they're so much fun. Really love this game, one of my best games of all time. So, as I said, I've only got a very small selection of TurboGrafx games, and just in case you're wondering, here is the UK controller for the TurboGrafx. It's very slightly different to the Japanese PC Engine one. As you can see, it has red and blue label on the front, and the wire is a bit shorter I think compared to the Japanese one. Here's one for the PC Engine, so the wire's longer, and it's also just got blue on there, it hasn't got any red on it, so there's very slight differences, but you can use the controllers on either system, so not really anything to worry about there. And before I move on to the games, one other really cool controller that I picked up in Japan a few years ago, I was very excited to find this. This is the PC Engine arcade stick, and if you can see at the top there, it actually has adjustable speed for the turbo buttons, which is one thing I do want to bring up actually, and probably the entire reason that the console's named the TurboGrafx is because it has turbo fire controllers, as well as the fact that the graphics are obviously very fast compared to the NES or the Master System, but it's really cool that every single game lets you swap into turbo mode, which is really good for a lot of the shooters on the system. And here's a quick look at the console. This one I've got here is called the PC Engine Duo, and it's called Duo because it has a CD drive and it also has a drive there to put in your Hue cards as well. So there's just one of many system variants. It's the only one that I've actually got here in my new house at the minute. The other consoles are back in my old house. So I'll try and dig them out for the video in the future, but for now that's the only one I can show off here. And it's probably the best version to get, the PC Engine Duo R. It is region free with disc games, but if you do want to play any American or PAL card games, you have to have the original system for them. Bit of a long intro there, but now let's take a look at some PC Engine games, and I've got a lot more of these compared to the TurboGrafx. So the first one here, you will have seen this if you saw my latest video from Play Expo. This one is called Eldis, and I did just manage to have a quick game of it before this video. It seems like a really fun shooter, something that this system is really well known for. It reminds me a lot of Parodius, it's got that sort of cute shoot 'em up style, so very happy with that one. And talking about Parodius, the next one here is Parodius. A really great port of the arcade game. This game's available on many different systems, but this is definitely one of the best versions, and it has really nice graphics. Compared to the NES one, it's just amazing. Because even though it's called the TurboGrafx 16, it is actually just an 8-bit console, so it is really incredible. Just what they could do with the system is really unbelievable. But I'll get to more of that in my actual video about the system in the future. The next one we have here is Ys 4, Dawn of Ys. I picked this one up because obviously I'm a huge fan of the Ys series now. Can't really get too far in this one obviously because it's all in Japanese, and it is a pretty wordy RPG, but it looks really nice, so I'll give it that. And I think there is a fan translation that you can get online, and they've even redubbed the voices, which is really cool. This one is Far East of Eden. Again, another RPG that I haven't really been able to play very much of, but it's definitely something that I've heard a lot of good things about, so it was really cool just to be able to add it to the collection. And another game here, this is Something Valkyrie. Again, with a lot of these Japanese games, like I've done in the other episodes, I'll put the name of the game down the bottom. Something Valkyrie, it's got really nice graphics, it's sort of like a Zelda-style adventure game. Yeah, really, really good, and I think it did come out in America as well, so you can probably track down an English version if you really wanted to. And here's a game that I'm not so keen on. This one was just really cheap, that's why I picked it up. It was only a $5. It's called Blodia, or Blodia, and it's just a really basic puzzle game, but it's okay, I guess, for the price. Let's get another stack of games here. Now here is an amazing game. Part of the Superstar Soldier series. This one is the last game in the series, obviously, because it's called Final Soldier. And what an incredible game it is. It's not my favourite shooter on the system, but it's definitely right up there with the best. The only one that I don't have is one, I can't remember what it's called, it's one of the Star Soldier games anyway. I'll put the cover up there so you know which one I'm talking about. Unfortunately, it's also the most expensive, but all of the games in that series are amazing. Another amazing game here, this is Twinbee. I'm sure you know what Twinbee is. If you don't, it's a really cute and colourful vertical scrolling shooter. It's just everything you could hope for from a PC Engine game, really. And it's also a really good port. It's probably my favourite version of the game, and I just love the system in general. It really is an underrated console. The next one we have here, it's a really interesting take on the old arcade Atari game called Kix, or Quix. This is called Volfeed, made by Taito. It's a really futuristic take on that original game, and I do like what they did with the graphics, but as I'm sure you're aware if you know what Kix is, it is a very simple game, and they didn't really do much to change up the gameplay, but still it's quite fun. Another really fun shooter here, this one's called Cybercore. Really enjoy this one actually, it's really fast and it has great music as well. So definitely recommend Cybercore if you're looking for some shoot 'em ups for the system. A game I wouldn't really recommend, and another one that I picked up just because it was fairly cheap. This one's just a basic maze sort of game, and it's called Titan. Don't really have much to say about this one, it's not too great. A game that is great though, and another game in the Star Soldier series. This one is the first one that's actually named Star Soldier, and it's called Superstar Soldier. It's a really great game if you're looking for some high score chasing action. It's got different time settings, which is really cool, and it's also got a full arcade style mode as well, so really recommend any of these games, they're all great. And another great game by Taito, another one of their arcade classics, and one that I actually spent a long time looking for in Japan. This one is called Don Dokodon, and it plays a lot like something like Bubble Bubble or Snow Bros. Really cool game, really enjoy it a lot, but it is very difficult. So that was that section of games, now on to the next ones. This one's a fairly interesting shooter, but by no means my favourite on the system. It's called Mr. Heli. It has a really unique premise, and I like the fact that the screen can scroll in every direction, and of course you play as a little cute helicopter, which is always fun, so I do like this game, but it's not the best out there, but I would recommend it if you find it for a decent price. It is fairly fun. A game that I would highly recommend, this one is actually the Japanese version of Blazing Lasers. It does play slightly faster because I've got the PAL version, so when I did get this, I was fairly surprised at the speed increase of the game, but it is really good, and it was actually made by the same people that went on to make the Star Soldier series. So if you enjoy any of these games, definitely go and check this one out. And I think it's also based on an anime or manga, so if you're interested, go and Google that and see where the ideas came from. This game here, I have no idea what it is, no idea how to pronounce it, and there's no images on the back, which isn't great, so I'll try and get some gameplay and put it up here and put the name of the game down the bottom. Can't really say anything about this one. I didn't even remember that I had it, so that's the problem when you got too many games in your collection. Here's a game that I was slightly disappointed with. Just like Darius on the SNES, this is a game in the arcade that actually spans several different screens. It's called Ninja Warriors, and it was one that I was really looking forward to getting, but unfortunately it didn't live up to my expectations. But I guess it was cool at the time, but these days it's not really that fun to play. A game that I picked up just for the collection. I'm probably never going to be able to play it unless I somehow miraculously learn how to read Japanese fluently. This is one of the games in the Xanadu series by Falcom. So I picked it up mainly just for that reason, because I really like Falcom and I just wanted to see what some of their earlier games were like. So this one is called The Legend of Xanadu, and it looks like it comes on multiple CDs. If you've played it, let me know in the comments what you thought. I'm not sure if there's an English translation out there, there might be. Now here it is. This is my favourite game for the system by far. I got completely addicted to this game, trying to complete it because it is really difficult. It's called Raiden, the first game in a very long running series of Raiden games. They actually just released a new one on the PS4 very recently, so it's still a series that's going strong, and I absolutely love this game. It's definitely one of my favourite shoot 'em ups of all time. It's fairly simple compared to some of the other ones on the system, but I actually really love the simplicity of it. It is my go-to game if I just want to turn the console on and play something for a while. Really love it. And another game that I really love, not quite as much as Raiden, this one is called Dragon Spirit. Another really cool shooting game. If you haven't noticed already, the PC Engine is incredible for shooters. It was basically built for them, and it really shows. Just the amount of sprites that it can throw around the screen is incredible. So that one is Dragon Spirit, another game that I'd highly recommend. And now we're on to the next set of games. This one was another cheaper game that I picked up just to really add to the collection. I don't really think too much of it. It's very difficult and the controls aren't great either. It's called Barumba, and basically you play as a little spaceship sort of submarine sort of thing, and you've got two different things that you can sort of spin around your ship and fire in all directions. It kind of reminds me of Mr. Heli in that sense, but it's not even as good as that, so I'd probably pass on that one if I were you. A game that is really good for the PC Engine, and I'm actually going to open this one up to show you what the cart looks like, because it's different to a lot of the normal ones. It's actually slightly thicker because it actually had extra memory inside it to make it run better. And I haven't actually shown them yet, but these are what the games look like for the PC Engine or the TurboGrafx. They're really cute. They're called HU cards or HU cards. They're really, really nice, and obviously they can actually store really good games on them as well, which is awesome. So as I was saying, this game here is Street Fighter 2, and it's a really good conversion, and it's just incredible that they managed to squeeze all of this onto an 8-bit console. It really is mind-blowing stuff. Now let's go back to this. This one here is a PC Engine game that I actually played for the first time on the Wii Virtual Console many, many years ago. This is Bomberman 93. One of my favourite games, if not my favourite game in the entire Bomberman series. The music, the single player is actually really good in this game, and of course the multiplayer is amazing too. And it was also one of the first Bomberman games to support more than 4 players. You can actually get an officially licensed Hudson controller adapter for the system that lets you play 5 players on one game, which is really cool. Definitely one of my favourite games in the Bomberman series, and I have to say it's even better than the one on the Switch. So if you want a bit of retro Bomberman action, go and fire up the Wii if you've still got some points on it and download it on there, or pick it up for the PC Engine if you can. I also forgot to mention this game in the video. This one's Bomberman 94, another really great Bomberman game for the system. Here's a game that's a really cool fighting game. I'm sure a lot of you old school anime fans really like this one. This is called Ranma. This one is, like I said, it's a fighting game, but it really shows off the power of the PC Engine in the fact that it actually has anime cutscenes in between the fights, which for the time must have been incredible. And they're all fully voice acted as well, so really shows just how far ahead they were compared to the Master System and the Famicom at the time. Really incredible stuff. And it's a really, really fun game too. I actually did 100% complete it when I actually picked it up. Another game that's really fun, this one I picked up super cheap in Japan, only 300 yen, which is like £2.50 or something. This is one of the many Wonder Boy games. This one's called Monster Lair, and it's not actually one of the adventure games in the series, it's actually one of the shooting games, or sort of shooting sort of platformers. It's really, really fun, one of my favourite games in the series. It's got a very arcadey feel to it, and it's just perfect for the system. It really is a really cool game. The next one here was not what I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be that pinball game, but actually it turned out to be an RPG, so I really don't know what it is or how to pronounce it or anything, but yeah, kind of disappointed. I would have really liked it to be Alien Crush or Devil's Crush, but it wasn't, unfortunately. A game that is really cool here, this one is Valis 3. I'm sure you've heard me talk about the Valis games before. I actually did a bit of a Let's Play of the SNES one, I think, a few years ago, so here's just one of many Valis games, and as always they are really fun to play. Really cool Japanese action games. Another one of the incredibly hard Darius games. This one is called Super Darius. The only really good thing I can say about this game is that the music's pretty cool, but I'm not really a huge fan of the Darius games just because I'm just not good enough for them, to be honest. They're just way above my skill level, so still a cool game to have though. Now, I don't know what this game's called, but I love the cover of it. It looks just like a Ghibli movie. Oh, actually it says on the back here it's called Conan the Boy in the Future. I remember at the time I was quite impressed with the animation in the game. Seems like a really fun platformer. I might actually go back and play some more of this later because it does seem like a really good game. And another really good game, if you're not fed up with me saying that by now, this one is the original Puyo Puyo game. I love the Puyo Puyo series, as I'm sure you know. Like a lot of things here. If you don't know already, definitely go back and check out some of my other videos on my channel. There's a hell of a lot of them now, so definitely go back and check them out. I've actually been organising my playlists recently, so it should be fairly easy to find some really good videos that I've done in the past. Puyo Puyo, amazing puzzle game. Yeah, if you like puzzle games, definitely go and check it out. Here's another one of the Valis games. In fact, here's all three of them. I didn't realise that I've actually got 2 copies of Valis 3, so if anyone wants to buy a copy of Valis 3 off me, let me know in the description and we can sort something out. In the comments, not the description, sorry. So here is Valis 2 and Valis 4. Just like all the other Valis games, they play very similarly. I can't really remember what's different about either of them, but as I said before, I'd definitely recommend any of the games in the series, really. They're really fun. So that's all the games that I've got in the boxes, at least. But I do have quite a few loose Hue cards here, so if you're still with me, here's my loose Hue cards. I know this video is quite long, so thank you very much for sticking around. This one is a really fun game. It's actually part of the Bonk series. Unfortunately, I don't actually have any of the Bonk's adventure games. I would really like to get some of them. I did have them on the Wii Virtual Console, so I have played them before, but this one's very different. This one's actually a shoot-'em-up called PC Kid Punk Cyborgs. I just love that name, it's really cool. And the actual game itself is really good too. I love the graphics. I'm just going to skip over these two because these were like booby prizes for some competition that I entered. So they are some random wrestling game and some really generic Formula 1 game. So I probably won't even bother getting gameplay for them ones. Here's a cool game. This one's Galaga 88. Another game that I did Retro Gamer Week video about before that I'll put down in the description. A really great version of Galaga. If you like Galaga or Galaxian, definitely recommend tracking this one down. It's really, really good. And here's another one of them booby prize games. This one's called Formation Soccer. How exciting. Skip over that one. Here's a cool one that's basically the PC Engine's version of Zelda. This one's called Nutopia, and I'd actually really like to get the American version so I could play it, but there doesn't seem to be too much of a language barrier, so it's a really cool game. Definitely recommend it if you like the original Zelda and want to try something a little bit different. An arcade conversion here, and a Sega arcade conversion actually. There's quite a few good ones on the PC Engine. This one in particular is Space Harrier, and it is really impressive how they managed to scale the sprites up on a console that didn't actually have that capability built in. Just the programming that they did back in the day to get these sort of things to work was insane, especially on something like as thin as a credit card basically. So it's really impressive. Another shooting game here. This one's called Image Fight. I don't really remember too much about this one. I think I remember it being very fast, so I'll play it in a bit and get some gameplay to put up there, but that's Image Fight. The next one here, another Sega arcade conversion. Not one of my favourite games, but it is a fairly good conversion, and that is I can't even remember what it's called because it's all in Japanese. What's it called? I'm going to have to look that up, I can't remember what it's called. Don't know what came over me for a second, I think this video's been going on too long. It's called Altered Beast, and I should have known that because I've played that game a million times before on the Mega Drive, so it's a fairly good conversion for the PC Engine. Very impressive what they managed to get out of the system once again. And another one of these, actually another two boring games, and I'll end on a good note. So this is Power League 3 and Final Match Tennis. Exciting times. And the final game we have here, and obviously a really cool game, another arcade conversion. Nothing too exciting, but this is Space Invaders. So, that was a lot of games there, so thank you very much for watching. That was my PC Engine and TurboGrafx collection. One of my favourite systems of all time, and one that I wish more people knew about. So, as I said at the start of the video, I'm definitely planning on making more of an in-depth look at the system and a bit of history about it as well. So, really hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know down below some of your favourite games for the TurboGrafx or the PC Engine. Let me know any games that you think I should get that I don't have already. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already, check out my Patreon, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.